Welcome back to SFHS Today. I'm Hunter Desmond.
And I'm Cody Hendrickson.
In world news, a Greenland-sized piece of continental crust called Greater Adria was discovered early last week according to the Washington Post. Scientists believe the continent separated from North Africa about 240 million years ago.
Evidently, tectonic shifts forced the continent to basically fold underneath Europe. They are calling it the long-lost eighth continent, and many news outlets have jokingly made reference to the long-lost city of Atlantis.
In national news, many news outlets are reporting that the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, announced a formal impeachment inquiry of President Trump, charging him with betraying his oath of office following the release of a whistleblower's complaint.
According to the New York Times, the inquiry concerns Trump's phone call with the Ukrainian president.
President Trump allegedly pressured Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate his political opponent, former Vice President Joseph Biden, a leading contender for the 2020 Democratic nomination, and his son Hunter Biden, who was on the board of the Ukrainian company that faced investigations over corruption.
Locally, just last week, KARE 11 posted that a 22-year-old male was arrested with charges pending after the Northwest Drug Task Force seized about 77,000 illegal THC vaping cartridges at a Coon Rapids home. Some officials are calling it a record drug bust in Minnesota. Investigators are saying that there is a street value of $3.8 million.
At open house a couple weeks ago, Counselor Jill Salo had a presentation on vaping. Reporters Morgan Nielsen and Grace Kolb got more information.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the parent presentation that we gave about e-cigs in our school. Mr. Austin and I presented to the parents on Monday night about the medical condition of being addicted to e-cigarettes and THC in our building. THC is not just marijuana. THC is the euphoric chemical that comes from marijuana, but it's actually cut with different chemicals like butane, and it's very strong. Marijuana usually has a potency level of between 3 or 4% to about 25%, and THC levels are much higher than that. Typically, someone carrying THC probably has enough to have a felony. And we are trying to help students understand that having a felony on your record is a horrible thing. Every job application that you fill out, you have to fill out that you're a felon and compete against people that aren't. We don't want our students to end up in that situation. And then the medical condition of having an addiction is very hurtful as well. With enough nicotine or THC, it harms 4 major communication systems in your brain. It also can permanently damage your heart. There's been studies saying that they can permanently damage the cells in your body.
What is the normal discipline for kids getting caught with vaping?
Well, traditionally and normally it would be is the first time you get, if you have a vaping device or an e-cigarette, that it would be like you get 1 day in school suspension, and then it gets progressively more detailed as you go forward. It does get more, if it does have something to do with dabs or things like that, then it's going to be more serious in that scenario.
And then also we have to remember that sometimes when you're trying to recover from an addiction, there's going to be personality changes because it is a medical condition. And if you know somebody that's struggling with an addiction, it's not a morality disorder, although that it might feel like it. But it really is a medical condition, and you might need professional help. And all the counselors up here are really helpful, and teachers want to help our students, and everybody does. And so if you are struggling with that, please ask for help. One thing that I wanted to mention too is that if you try to withdraw on your own, sometimes you're going to need some medical assistance while you're withdrawing. So it's really important that you come to an adult and ask for help, because you might not be able to medically withdraw on your own.
Thank you, Grace and Morgan, for getting more info. I'm sure we'll hear more research about this health crisis.
In school news, if some of you don't know, we have a new superintendent for St. Francis area schools. Beth Giese came to us from her previous position as superintendent in Cannon Falls, and reporters Grace Kolb and Caitlin Bagsness interviewed her.
I've been really lucky. I've been a high school teacher and I've been an elementary teacher. I've been an assistant principal at a high school, and I've been an elementary principal. And then I was superintendent the last 9 years in Cannon Falls, Minnesota. I grew up in Pine Island, Minnesota, which is outside of Rochester. And then the last 18 years I've been in Cannon Falls. I went to college in Nebraska. So all of those places feel like the St. Francis school area. You know, I think sometimes when they hear that you were in the military, and I was for 12 years, I think some people think you're very like one way. You're very military in style, and she must be really rough and tough. And I think after you've met me even for 10 minutes, people realize that I have a huge heart, and it isn't really my style of leadership. If anyone knows anything about me, I'm proud of a lot of things. If you've followed me on social media or listen to any of my podcasts that come out or anything, I really like to talk and brag about the kids that are in my district. Every day I'm posting something about kids in this district, because I'm just as proud of you guys as I am of my last district. So talking about specific achievements is really hard, because I think sometimes the little ones are just as great. You know, we've got an athlete of the week, or we've got kindergartners that, you know, made it through the first week of school and they were doing this kind of stuff. Those to me are all just really fun to talk about. I think my love for education and all of that, I want to make sure all the students here have everything they need to be whatever they want to be.
Giese is one of the 3% of superintendents in the nation to have national certification. Homecoming week is this week, Saints. Today, Student Council held Pet Fest coronation with the nominations of court. This year's court are as listed below. Homecoming King and Queen will be announced at the semi-formal homecoming dance this Saturday from 8 to 11 p.m. held at the high school. Any student is welcome to attend, but outside guests need to be approved and registered with administration in advance.
Power Puff is tonight at 6 o'clock in the main gym. Powder Buff is on Wednesday at 6 o'clock as well. Admission to the games is $5.
This week's dress-up days are as following. Today is Beach Out. Tuesday is Jersey Out. Wednesday is Rockin' Back to the 50s. Thursday is PJ Day. And Friday is Saints Out, with the big football game being this Friday at 7 as the Saints face off against Rogers.
Homecoming week offers plenty of opportunities to show your school spirit. Reporters Gabby Giving and Katie Mickelberg went out and spoke with students and staff about school spirit.
Week, we decided to ask you your opinions on school spirit.
How well do you think students represent St. Francis through school spirit?
I don't think students represent school spirit very well because they don't participate in many of the dress-up days or attend a lot of the sports games. A lot of our student attendance is very low.
I think students represent St. Francis pretty well through school spirit at especially football games, but I think we're lacking in other sports.
I think we represent pretty well. We show up to a lot of sporting events and cheer on the other teams.
Are you dressing up for the school spirit days? Why or why not?
Yeah, I'm going to be dressing up for the school spirit days because I think participating in them is pretty fun, and there's some pretty interesting ones this year.
I probably will not be dressing up because I wake up in the morning, just get dressed, and I forget what's going on that day.
I will probably dress up for most days. Can't guarantee all because I don't really care what people think I look like.
I haven't decided if I'm dressing up
I
or
don't
not
know yet. How do you think we can improve our school spirit?
Getting more people to attend games and participate in after-school activities along with the dress-up days.
I think we can improve our school spirit by just showing up to more games overall and just cheering more, and getting into the games.
Yeah, do you know our school spirit song?
I thought I did, but mostly I think I do.
Do you want to sing it for us?
I'll give it a go. St. Francis High School, hats off to thee. Firm and strong, united, we shall ever be. I forgot the line before that. You see, rah, 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 rah. Hail to St. Francis High. STFRANCIS. St. Francis, St. Francis. Go Saints!
Hats off to thee, to our colors, to we shall ever be. Firm and strong, united are we. Rah, 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 rah for St. Francis High.
STFRANCIS. St. Francis, go Saints!
Our own Allie Frank is a well-known state-level competitive gymnast. This week she was excited to find a student who is willing to do almost as many flips as she is. Zack Alfredson is our 5 minutes of fame.
Student celebrities everywhere, this is why you should care about 5 minutes of fame.
Hey Saints, I'm Morgan Nielsen.
And I'm Allie Frank.
We are gonna go interview Zack Alfredson. We heard he's a ninja, right?
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Let's go.
What I do is called tricking, and it's like a mix of like martial arts kicks and like gymnastics flips. So I got into tricking through martial arts tournaments that I go to, and tricking is really popular in the South, so I kind of picked that up when I was down south. I've been tricking for 3 years, and I've been doing martial arts for 10. I compete all over the US and sometimes out of the country.
Over the summer we went to Miami, Florida, and then there's one tournament in Minnesota in St. Paul, and that's during like November, the first weekend of November. So I'll be going to that one this year, and then we'll be going to Chicago, and then in February I get to go to California with them. So
I'd say the biggest event I've done is I've done stunts for a movie, the movie Apocalypse.
I think it's like really cool because not a lot of people do it, and it's so like, I don't know, it's so cool because it's just not what everyone does. It's different.
I started doing flips for the football game because the seniors asked me to last year, and it's something really unique that nobody else does.
I try to support him and to tell him to have fun, because I mean, you gotta have fun with it.
Alright, we go. Hey Hunter, if animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
I don't know. Let's find out with this week's RQT.
It's the random question thing, ding.
If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
Probably a rhino because they're a scary horn.
A lion because they attack people.
Well, I said cat because like people be trying to put clothes on them, make them walk, spray them with bottles when you're on the counter, and they already got a bad attitude anyway. So I just feel like a cat would just be rude.
I'd have to go like a giraffe or something like that, because I feel like sometimes they'd be like too high for everyone.
I think a fox would, because they're fast and they would just make fun of people being slow.
I think a crocodile would be, because they're kind of big and scary and they'd like eat you or something.
A llama, because they spit.
Chihuahua, because they're psycho. Definitely a leafy sea dragon. I mean, have you ever looked at one?
Now let's pass it over to sports.
Hey Saints, I'm Tate Skoquist, and this is Sports. The varsity volleyball team won against Anoka 25-2 on Tuesday and Cambridge on Thursday. The girls soccer team has been having a successful season with an 8-5 record right now. Freshman goalie Emma Knack has recently been nominated for the top 5 girls performers from last week. She has also been in the top 10 for saves all season. That makes her our Athlete of the Week.
Freshman soccer player Emma Knack was nominated for Athlete of the Week by a website called MN Soccer Hub. We decided to go interview her and get the details.
So basically it's a website called MN Soccer Hub, and all the school teams for soccer are put on there, and so basically all their stats are put into there, and then everyone has stats if you're on a varsity team, and there's like assist leaders, save leaders, and then goal leaders. I'm a save leader, and every week you get nominated for like the athlete of the week, and I've never been nominated, so this is the first time I've been nominated to be one of those. So we're doing really well. Our freshmen are really good, and our seniors are also really good. Everyone's really good. And we're really good at passing and communicating, and we're a pretty strong team. We're the soccer train, and we hopefully want to make it to state. So, yeah.
What is your favorite memory of being on the soccer team all time?
Oh, okay. It's hard. I think probably the Duluth drive where we got a coach bus. That was really fun because we were dancing and singing, and then we had a really good game, so that made it fun.
The girls won 5-1 against North Branch last Monday and lost on Thursday, September 26th to Monticello in a tight game. They play Sartell St. Stephen's on Tuesday and Providence Academy on Thursday. In other soccer news, the boys soccer team won both their games last week against North Branch and Monticello. They play Sartell St. Stephen's this week. Senior player Andrew Christopherson was featured in the Star Tribune last week as Athlete of the Week. The volleyball team played in a tournament last Saturday at Centennial and plays Blaine and Becker this week. Last week, the football team went out and read with our elementary students in the district. Fighting Saints football played Buffalo last Friday. This week, they take on the Roger Royals for the big homecoming game. That's all for sports this week. Check back next week for more.
That's all we have this week.
Stay safe, Saints.